Kings with a big second half, and they win it 114-106. So Sacramento gets the road win. No Durant, no Allen, no Beal. Kings sloppy in the first half, got it going in the second half. They end up shooting over 45% for the game, which is not great, but they really increased their three-point shooting. Assist to turnover, very good. So light the beam. The Kings get the road win, and they continue to play well away from Sacramento. That's 500 now for the Sacramento Kings on the road, and that's going to get you up in the standings in the West. So very good job beating the Suns. Again, you had to beat this team tonight without Durant, without Allen, without Beal. Would have been a real bad loss to lose, but the final 114-106. So happy to have you right here. We talk Kings basketball on the postgame show. If you don't like that.
3, 2, 1, go.
Sacramento miscue. Carter, stolen by Williams. And look at this. Oh, you don't like that. You don't like NBA basketball.
Fox, goodbye. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball. The exclamation point from De'Aaron Fox. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball.
Boy, that's an ESPN highlight right there. Whoa. Carlson comes in. How about this? Holy moly, Jim Bob Foley. That is a major league smush.
And it's great to bring in Ryan in Sacktown. Fox, Sabonis. Yeah, it's a broken record. And you got 3 players off the bench in double figures, and the Kings with a big second half.
Hey, that second half was all about what the Kings did differently and not what the Suns did. So it was good to see the adjustments and good to see them get a road win, like you said. 500, light the beam, baby.
Again, you don't have Kevin Durant, you don't have Allen, you don't have Beal, you can't lose a game like this. I mean, these all add up at the end of the year, and this is the extra game. You didn't know when you were going to play it, who you were going to play, but it all works out for the Kings. They get that road win. But, again, Fox did not play well in the first half, but he's Fox, right? He ends up with 34 points. You and I always talk about the assist to turnover ratio. Well, here we are, 25 assists. They did a good job at taking care of the basketball tonight with only 12 turnovers.
Yeah, and that's what they got to do to win. That's that winning formula that we talk about, Grant. But these are the games where you look at the beyond, right? Who's coming into town next? A hot team. And what do the Kings need to do different? And when you speak of the assists, my worry for this team is the assists are coming from Fox and Sabonis. Nobody else is setting up Fox and Sabonis. You look at the assist column for the starters tonight. Harrison Barnes, 2 assists. You've got Keegan Murray, no assists. Kevin Huerter, 1 assist. So for this team to go further, they're all going to have to be able to work better together as well.
Kevin Huerter, invisible in this game. I mean, how does a shooting guard in the NBA play 17 minutes and only have 1 point? Like, how does that happen?
Grant, they talk about, or we've heard so much about this Kings offense, and I don't know if this is a wrinkle that they keep talking about, that it's okay to have a shooting guard that's not going to produce big numbers, but we're seeing it so consistently that you got to wonder, is this part of it? It's okay to have guys that aren't getting the points for you, and I don't know. It's hard.
All right, we got people again joining us from around the globe. Costa Rica checking in. Victor, thank you very much. Corvallis, Oregon, checking in. I got some buddies watching in Colorado. We know that Boki's watching over in Serbia. I'd be surprised if we don't have anyone watching in either Vietnam or Cambodia. We've got big fans in Southeast Asia, Australia. Let's see if Eduardo in Chile is going to be on the stream tonight as the Kings get the win 114-106, and they light the beam. Oh, yes, don't forget about the Philippines. I beg your pardon. Eating lunch and watching from Manila. How about that? Hello to the Philippines. I hope the weather is good. I know it's better than where my buddies are in Colorado, where it's 2 degrees. So, we got South Korea checking in. Hello from South Korea. Beautiful. Yes, indeed. We go around the globe here on the post-game show. It's not just Northern California. Oh, let's not forget about Tokyo. Hello, Tokyo, Japan. Love it. Yes, indeed. This is freaking awesome. Scottsdale checking in. Yes, indeed. We got everyone checking in. I love it. We got people watching all over the world. Oh, I beg your pardon. How could I forget about our man in Italy? Yes,
Paolo.
Italy.
Bella ciao, buddy. Bella ciao.
God, I wish I had some of that Italian food right
Here we
now. I
go.
could use it. What would I get right now if I was in Italy? I'm kind of plain. I love their spaghetti bolognese over there,
Have
but
to.
give me one of your margarita pizzas. Get me that margarita pizza in Italy. Yes, indeed. Whether I'm on the Amalfi Coast, you know what? Maybe I'm up in Venice. Maybe I'm in Florence. Wherever. Get me one of them margarita pizzas from Italy, would you please? Thank you very much.
There you
Great
go.
job.
There you go. Throw in a little pappardelle pasta in there too. Can't go wrong with that.
Bula!
Bula!
Bula! Hello in Fiji. Bula! This is freaking awesome. Indeed, we got people from all over the world watching this stream. And everyone's happy because the Kings in the second half beat the Phoenix Suns. Have we missed any region of the world? Well, we haven't had anyone check in from down under yet. So we got to have someone checking in from down under, and then we're complete. We've gone global here. We got Europe. We got Asia. I know Eduardo's got to be watching from Chile. He's always watching. So everyone's happy. 114, 106.
And the international check-in is complete for this segment because I know we'll have another round of it later in the show, but love having all of you here.
Yeah. Grant is internationally known. No, I'm not internationally known. The Kings are internationally known, but yes. And yes, your man from Fiji is checking in. We say Bula to all the Fijians out there. Yes, indeed. Bula. Name my dog Bula. That's right. Our little dog is named Bula.
Really?
Because Fijian people. Seriously. We got back from Fiji and we bought a dog and we go, Bula. Perfect. So our dog's name is Bula. That's why we could never, ever take our beautiful little dog to Fiji because everyone in Fiji says Bula all the time. And the dog would be like,
yeah.
It would be Bula, Bula, Bula.
Yeah, but you know your dog is laser focused at a dog park here in the States.
If I took my dog, if we took our dog to Fiji, we'd have to put earplugs in it or put some, like some earphones on it. Oh my gosh. We got Disneyland USA just got off work. Good to have you here on the stream. Indeed. Bula, and we drink kava. You are right about that. You know about kava? Yes, indeed. I drink kava. So Bula Banaka. Yes, indeed. Oh my gosh. I love it. Well, you know what? We say hello to the people in Lodi too.
Yeah.
We love it. You know, it doesn't matter where you are. As long as you're here joining us on this post-game show, we're happy about that. 114 to 106. How about that game in Oklahoma City tonight that went to overtime and a shootout? The Thunder beat the Warriors and Minnesota wins. The Thunder win. Here's the other issue. You and I talked about this earlier about we feel the Kings last year at this point were better than this year. You know what I also see as a big difference this year as opposed to last year? And I think injuries or lack thereof have a lot to do with it. Best record-wise is much better than it was last year. So if you're going to end up third in the West, like Sacramento did last year, you know, it may very well take 50 wins, Ryan. It may take 50 to get to that point.
Yeah, and I would expect some of the same from Phoenix with the injury concerns because we haven't seen anything different from them thus far since Kevin Durant got there. But you look at your ADs, you look at your LeBrons, they're all playing games. Steph Curry playing games for the most part. So if anything, the Kings have been bit by the injury bug. So I think the West is here to stay, and hopefully it stays that way because you want the Kings to win in the best division.
Says, take your dog to Tennessee. That would be a nice picture. I have taken my dog to Tennessee. I took Bula in the car to go visit my brother who lives about 45 minutes or so outside of Knoxville in a town called Crossville. So Bula's been to Tennessee. Don't be knocking my little dog. Bula's been all over the freaking world. All right. The Kings.
Of course that dog has. Come on. Dog's probably got a passport.
All right, so here's the other issue. The Nuggets are still struggling with their injuries. The Rockets are going to win that game tonight. They're up 108 to 101 with 41 seconds left. The Clippers have a lead over the Jazz. They probably win that game. The Mavs are in Portland. They're probably going to win, although that's a 7-point game right now in favor of Dallas. Here are your scores earlier as it affects the West. Minnesota beat Memphis 127-103. The Thunder beat the Warriors in overtime 138 to 106. All right. So the Kings keep pace And when you look at the standings right now in the West, which we like to do because it's so much better than it was last year, Minnesota, 17-4. My team, when I say my team, the team I've been saying watch out for the last year, Oklahoma City is 14-7. Denver's 14-8, but they're going to lose to go to 14-9. The Lakers are now ahead of the Kings at 14-9. Sacramento, 12 wins. Dallas has 12 wins, but if Dallas wins tonight, they'll go ahead of Sacramento, and that would put Sacramento 6th in the standings. But with Phoenix losing, they're now 12-10. And this West, you cannot, Ryan, how many times did you and I come on the post game? We're talking about, the Kings, there's no way they should have lost that game, blah, blah, blah. You can't do that this year with the way the West looks.
No, you can't. And you have to capitalize on the Eastern Conference matchups as well. You cannot take those for granted. Brooklyn rolling into town. Grant, they've won 3 in a row and 6 of 7. So that's not going to be easy for the Kings, and I don't want to look ahead, but they have to take care of their business. They have no room for error. They have to show up every single night.
My mom was born in Chattanooga, Tennessee on Lookout Mountain and went to high school with Jim Neighbors. Remember him? Yes, indeed. Chattanooga, Tennessee. My mom was born there in Lookout Mountain, and it is a fabulous town. All right, here's
history.
Yeah, here's Boki checking in from Serbia. Grant, Rhino, you must hear this. Jokic did something last night. Now half the state of Serbia hates it. More about this you will see in newspapers or later from us. All right, we'll keep our eye out for that, okay? Yes, indeed. That's Gomer Pyle, John. You're right on it. My mom went to school with Gomer. How about that? Yeah, for John, for someone like Ryan, the younger generation, they have no idea what the hell we're talking about.
Different language right now, gentlemen. Different language.
Different language. Oh, man. You ready for the new merch? Well,
yes.
Guess what? We got some new merch coming out for you, and you'll be able to probably get it. What is today? Friday? I would think before the end of next week, right?
100%. Yeah, we are working on it. New and improved system. Hands are off, Grant and I, so you'll have customer support that you can deal with independently, and new merch. More importantly, we're excited for the new offerings.
Yeah, so last year was a new deal for us, and Ryan, bless his heart, tried to undertake this, and we were going to do our own delivery and mailing, and it just was too much. So now, when you go on my website, if you don't like that.com or grantnapier.com, when the merch is available, everything is going to be streamlined. Boom, you order, you get it, no issues, and it's going to be much easier for everybody. All right. So thank you for your patience on that. More importantly, thank you for your support. And we talk about support, New Works Plumbing, they've been here since day one. I love them. They have been great. And I love all the feedback that I get from you regarding our sponsors. I've had a lot of positive feedback as it relates to New Works Plumbing. Just go to sackserviceplumbing.com. Plumbing issues, concerns, you have a repair. Remember, they're available 24/7 for all of your plumbing needs. New Works Plumbing, they've got a fix for you. sackserviceplumbing.com or call the number on your screen. Sacramento gets the road win with a big second half. Jerry hit it right on the number. He had the Kings scoring 114. I had the Kings scoring 112. So good job, Jerry, hitting that number. 114 for the Kings,
Second time this season he's done that. He's hit both numbers this season. So something about that guy. Wrap him up and take him to Vegas, huh? Maybe for the finals tomorrow.
You'd have to drive. Jerry hates flying now. That's the problem,
That's so hard to believe. That is so hard to believe.
He doesn't like flying anymore,
It changes. You go through phases. Everything changes from time to time.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Again, hello to my buddies watching in Colorado. We got my buddies playing poker in Massachusetts. I can't say where in Massachusetts because I hate the city, but I'll just say that they're in Mass and they're playing poker. So hello to all my buddies out there, my travel buddies. Good job. Good to have you here on the stream. You better get that merch. When I see your ass in March, you better have that merch on. You better be wearing it. Exactly right.
They might win it off you if you decide to play poker with them someday.
Yeah, that's a great. Cody wants to know, Grant, any Olden Polynice stories? I have a lot of stories about Olden Polynice, and I'll say one word that I use with Olden Polynice: respect. Because we went at it quite a bit, and I got on him quite a bit on the radio. And he called up my show one day unannounced and apologized to me. Okay. And said, hey, man, we need to, do this better. And I'm sorry for some of the things I've done. And I was just like, OP, I have so much respect that you picked up the phone and went on the show. And I have so much respect for him. I had him on my podcast. And we talked about that. I brought it up. I said, OP, I got to tell you something. I have so much respect for you for the way you handled adverse, bad situations that you were responsible for. I'll never forget this. And OP won't mind me saying this because it's true. We went to a middle school. It was the Read to Achieve marketing plan that the NBA had, where NBA teams would go to a school and they split the team up. 6 players went to one school, 6 to the other. Gary Gerald was at one school. I was at the other school. So we had the word respect. And OP was the last guy to speak about respect. And so he says, I've got the letter T. And the letter T for me is think before you act. And he went to this most eloquent, great speech. Best one of all the Kings that were there that day. Think before you act. The next day, he punches out the Sacramento Bee reporter, Ari Graswich, in the locker room. The next day. And, I had to get on him for that, doing my radio show, as did everyone else.
Right.
And so we had our run-ins, but when I think of OP, the word I use is respect, and I'll tell you why. He was willing to admit that he did not handle criticism well at times and that he had to do better, right? And there are so many athletes that can't handle criticism, Kevin Durant being one, okay?
Yeah.
DeMarcus Cousins could never, ever handle criticism. And unlike Durant, DeMarcus let it affect his entire career. Durant is thin-skinned, but he hasn't allowed it to affect what he does on the floor. And OP was really a good player for Sacramento. He really was.
Yeah, he was.
Played his ass off every game and played every game, was never hurt, and was okay to come out and admit his faults. And so we had the best conversation that day on the radio, and I'm really, really pleased that I've been able to grow our friendship. All right, please say it with me. Light the beam. I'm not going to add your adjective, even though you didn't spell it the way it's all good. All right, so Kings win. They get the road win. Now they have a whole bunch of home games coming up. The only lone road game is against the Clippers, and it's a back-to-back next week. So just keep winning, man. It was a sloppy first half, but a really good second half.
Yeah, and again, when you're on the road, like you said, keep that 500 number, find a way to win. But at some point, you got to ask the question, Grant. Yeah. The Kings could have played this game for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
But did they know they only needed to play it for 2?
I'll tell you this. The Kings are not going to be successful this year, Ryan, when they only play 2 quarters of basketball. And we've seen that a lot since the road trip, the 6-game road trip. Warriors allowing 72 at the half. Next night, Clippers, 72 at the half. New Orleans, 69 at the half. They lost 2 of those games, by the way. You're not going to win when you get after the All-Star break, Rhino. When you're coming down the stretch in March and April and in the playoffs, you're not going to win with 2 bad quarters of basketball. Not going to happen.
No, you saw it in the playoffs last year and in the games you've mentioned this year. And with the Western Conference as competitive as it is, that's all the why it's more important to come out. And we know they're capable. And I think that's the thing that's bugging the fan base the most. But they win tonight. They get a new chance at 4 quarters on Monday.
Want to talk about Bennett's. I don't know if you were listening to my Listen App show yesterday, but we got a call from Rich, who is a big supporter of ours with all the content. And he said he just had a party at Bennett's for 70 people, and he said it was just phenomenal. Bennett's can do it all, whether you're going there solo, going there as a couple, Ryan's been there with his family before, whatever the case may be. They have 3 locations. Bennett's Westside Grill is their newest location in Rockland, okay, at the Blue Oaks Town Center. Don't forget about their weekend brunch this weekend, tomorrow, Sunday. Get out there for the weekend brunch. They have the weekend prime rib, 60 different types of wine available by the glass, prime seafood and steak. Go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com for more information. My buddy Ed, who's getting ready to go skiing in the slopes of Colorado tomorrow, is watching this show where it's 2 degrees outside. Thankfully, he's inside, and he's got a nice glass of red wine. That's what I like, Ed. Good job right there.
Well done, Ed. Well done. Grant would have had a Coors Light, though. Got to step his wine game up.
Yeah, you know what? I probably would. Yeah, you're good point right there. Right from the Rockies, right? So if I'm going to be in Colorado, I got to have a Coors Light, correct?
You got to have a Coors Light. That's where the water comes from, buddy. That's what makes the beer special.
That's what they say anyway, you know?
Allegedly.
Hey, I'll take their word for it, okay?
Yeah.
Which in this day and age, you really shouldn't take anyone's word for anything, but I'll take Coors Light's word for it. That's where the water comes from. Oh my gosh.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Hey, by the way, if you're joining us for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. If you have not already done so, hit subscribe. That way you're going to know whenever we do shows. You're not going to get emails. You're not going to be asked for money. Just hit subscribe. Also, if you like the content, please give it a thumbs up. Hit the like button. We would greatly appreciate that. All right. Greatly appreciate that as the Kings roll in the second half and they get to win. These shows are so much better when the Kings win. These shows when the Kings lose, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. It's doom and gloom when they lose, but we have fun. So OP, did you think you were going to be talking about OP after a Kings win?
No, I didn't. But you know what? I should have OP come on our show once. He'll do it.
Yes.
And I would love to reminisce again. He's been on my podcast. And I have so much respect for him. OP's a different cat. I mean, and I mean that in all due respect. But he's different. He's just a different guy. But he's got a big heart. I like people that have good hearts. He's got a good heart. He means well, and he worked for everything he got in life, and I appreciate that. And he's in broadcasting now. He's doing good things.
Yeah.
So. I'm very happy for him. Update your scores. Dallas now is up 10 in Portland, 4 minutes left in the third. All right. And the other game that we were following, the Rockets do beat the Nuggets 114-106. And here's the deal with Denver. All right. The reason why they are where they are right now is one reason and one reason only. Now, they did have Jamal Murray tonight. They did have Jokic. They did have Gordon. They did have Porter. So they lost at full strength. So you can't blame that on the loss tonight. But they're now 14-9 after their hot start. And they fell off the mountaintop when Jamal Murray went down with his hamstring. All right. And then the Kings got fortunate when they played Denver when Murray had turned his ankle in his first game back after the hamstring. But, if you're looking at Denver right now, they're not playing well. They lose to the Rockets, who I think, wouldn't you agree, are the most surprising team in the West right now at 10-9?
Yeah. You might have to throw OKC in there because they're not a surprise to you, but a lot of people did not see that coming. So I think they're neck and neck, but the Rockets have been a tremendous, tremendous surprise with what they've done. And hey, they're a well-coached team that can play basketball. When they're on, they're on.
Well, they're now a game over 500. Okay. I'm talking about Houston. And they beat the Kings twice. So keep that in mind also. But they, again, they beat them without De'Aaron Fox. So, we have to add that in. All right. Oh, John, only 3 thumbs up. Then, John, get on everyone and give us a thumbs up. Would you please hit that like button? Hit that like button. Rich said Bennett's did remote catering for us. Love it. That's great.
Awesome. Shout out to Rich, by the way, too. When I was in San Diego this last week, he gave me a call. He's like, you got to take your son by this new park by the campus. So appreciate him.
Good job. Rich is good people and love his support. Let's see. Now it's December, 8th. So Rich is pretty close to going back on vacation because it's been a couple of weeks, right, Ryan?
Yeah, right. World traveler. Yeah, you guys speak in your own language, you and Rich.
Yes,
like when you call in on the Listen app show,
Yeah.
hard to understand. Yeah.
How about this? The redfish at Bennett's was unbelievable. Well,
Right?
you know what? I wouldn't steer you the wrong way. All right. And neither would Rhino. My redfish is my favorite there if I'm not going beef. I love the redfish at Bennett's. I get it over 50% of the time, you know?
It's what I've gotten the last 3 times.
Yeah.
Can't get a bad meal there. You really can't.
Yeah, so Rich and I need to have what we ought to do is we ought to figure out a way to have a map, a globe, a picture, a globe at a flat, so you can put it on and put little, those little thumb tacks or whatever they're called, and stick them into all the places that we've been around the world and see who wins.
100%. And we need a third one for this show for everybody that checks in. I can make that happen. I grew up in a house with one of those as a dad for a pilot. So I have access to those. We can pin those up. You might have the slight edge, though.
Just so you know, we do talk about the game. We talk about the game 90% of the time. All right. Hey, Grant, I have a question. The NBA winner is called world champion. I thought the team win the World Cup, which Germany won, should be called world champion. I don't care. You know what I mean? I really don't. Grant, you brought up December, and it reminds me of your Christmas rant. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Again, I don't care what you call it. I really don't. Why don't we just acknowledge that the United States has the best basketball in the world? You want to call it NBA championship? Call it that. You want to call it world championship? Call it that. You want to call it whatever.
I don't care. Whatever.
When you're holding the trophy at the end of the season, okay, you're the champions, okay? And here's what I do know unequivocally, 100%, not debatable. The NBA world champions, whomever they may be, would beat any team in the world. So you want to call them NBA champions, fine. You want to call them world champions, fine. Okay. They're going to beat any team in the world. So look at it that way. All right. I wouldn't say that about other sports, but I would say that definitely about the NBA. All right. So you like the cartoon picture of us. That's new. And I got to thank Justin for that. So here's another thing that I give thanks. I've been doing my podcast on giving thanks. All the people that have reached out to try to help me and Ryan with this endeavor, graphics, merchandise, YouTube. Ryan and I met a guy at lunch. We had a great talk, learned a lot. Justin reaches out to me. Justin makes all of the graphics that you see. So when I promote all the shows here on YouTube, that's from Justin. And I'm grateful for him because, he's doing it out of the goodness of his heart. He's doing it because he wants to help us. He wants to help me. And his graphics are phenomenal. I mean, they are just professional looking graphics. So I'm glad that you like the new logo of me and Ryan. Appreciate that.
Amen. Yeah. The level of support in almost every area you can think of behind the scenes has been overwhelming. And everybody that steps in is like a professional at what they do. So we're extremely thankful.
Did you realize that the Pistons are on an 18-game losing streak? I didn't even realize that. Wow.
I did not.
Honestly, I did not. I did not realize that. I'm looking at the standings right now. I believe you.
Woo.
Wow. You know what? You're wrong. It's 19.
19, Michael. Huh. Yeah, I
didn't know that. You know what? I honestly did not realize that. They're 2-20.
Whew.
They've lost 19 games in a row. Wow.
Marvin Bagley still playing, Michael? Is he
yeah, he still plays.
Yep. All right.
You know what? I don't talk about my favorite possible trade acquisitions because they never happen. And by that, I mean the trades that you hear about very rarely happen. They trade, like, for instance, when the Kings traded Halliburton and Hield for Sabonis, that was a shock. Nobody was talking about that, right?
Big surprise.
Yeah. He wants to know what year did we have 17 wins? Really, for a while, I thought it was every year, to be honest with you. What's that, Rhino?
Yeah, but there are a lot of trades that still happen that are talked about a lot, like Harden to the Clippers, right? Some of that stuff is spelled out pretty well for you, but the Kings traditionally, no.
Yeah. Again, I thank you for bringing that to my attention. I'm not really following the Pistons. I'm not paying attention to the Pistons, but I mean, that's embarrassing, right? I mean, can you imagine?
Is the rest.
Terrible.
Either is the rest of the media. I mean, we're not hearing about it anywhere that they're 19 in a row in the negative column. So
Bagley started tonight. They got blown out by the Magic, 123-91. He played 23 minutes. He had 9 points. He had 5 rebounds. I'm looking at his totals on the year. He's averaging 10 points, 5 rebounds, shooting 57%, and the whole Pistons team is awful. All right, but who cares about the Pistons? Sacramento right now is getting the road win. They're getting ready to get on the plane. They're flying back home, and now they got to take care of business on their home floor.
Yeah, they've got to take care of business and they got to get healthy. The one guy that really stuck out to me tonight that they need, Alex Len. They are missing Alex Len's, spot minutes, whether it's 7, 10, 12 minutes. He was giving Mike Brown good minutes. So bring it, Golden One crowd. Team's going to need it when they return home Monday to a decent Brooklyn Nets team that they'll be seeing.
Yeah, they're playing better. There's no doubt about that. Hey, I want to tell you about CalusaSunrise.com. This is a project by Blazona Development, Sunrise Landing. And if you go to their website, you can see everything in detail. 6 models to choose from. Remember, no Mellorews, no homeowners at Calusa Sunrise. All right, nothing. No Mellorews, no homeowners. Phase 1's already sold out. They are on phase 2. It is the newest residential community in Calusa. And again, it's a 5-phase project. We're talking about 180 total sites, lots ranging from 7,600 square feet to over 16,000 square feet. They're beautiful, spacious interiors, as you can see from some of these pictures. By the way, it's right adjacent to the Calusa Golf and Country Club. And you have easy access to Highway 20, Highway 45, and I-5. Just go to CalusaSunrise.com and check out Sunrise Landing. So happy that they are a sponsor of If You Don't Like That. Well, we like it tonight because the Kings have a strong second half. They were down 59-50. Boy, they came out of the locker room on fire in the start of the third quarter. You knew that they were ready to roll in the first 3 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, their cuts were crisper. Their spacing was better. They were much more physical, like they needed to be. They stopped giving up offensive rebounds in that third quarter. So everything they needed to do, they did.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for all of the support about Sunrise Landing. Appreciate it. Love it, everyone here and their support. You all are great. All right, so here we are. We're getting ready for the weekend. It's the holidays. Give me some final thoughts on this victory tonight.
You know what? You got to play the games that are put in front of you. I know this one is a little bit on short notice, but credit to the Kings for finding a way to pull through. Credit for the bench picking them up. And hopefully it's just another thing that sticks with them and they can come out and play well on Monday.
All right, I'm going to give you some final thoughts as we approach the middle of December. The Kings have a good nucleus, but, and I'm going to use but, they're not going to be able to beat the upper echelon teams when you get the production that you had tonight from a Kevin Huerter, a Harrison Barnes, a Murray. That's not going to cut it when you play against the upper echelon teams. Those players, that supporting cast has to get better. You just can't rely on Fox, Sabonis, and Monk every night, okay? And that's really what has been happening too often. I'm still very optimistic that this team's going to be a top 4 seed, but the others are going to have to step up and get their job done. That's number 1. Number 2, I love the fact that we have a worldwide audience. I love the fact that we have Kings fans all over the world. Ryan, one of my favorite things to do when I was the TV voice of the Kings was entertaining foreigners that were making a trip to only see the Kings play. They were coming to America to come to Sacramento to go to home games. And I entertained people from Europe. I entertained Eduardo from Chile. I entertained folks from Asia that were coming over. They would reach out to me. Danny in England, again, you've heard that story. I mean,
yes.
I would wager to say that there are very few people walking planet Earth that have a better story than Danny from England had when he came over. His wife allowed him to come over to celebrate his 40th birthday in Medicine, Toronto. You've heard the story. I met him the night before the game, and he said, I'm going to be getting to the game at this time. I go, you know what? Get to the game earlier. I'm going to leave you a credential so you can get in. He was on the floor. He took pictures with all the players. I introduced him to Keith Smart, the then coach. Keith was blown away that he came all the way from England and said, listen, if we win, I want you to talk to my team after the game. They have no idea that they have fans that aren't only in California. They win. I see Danny sitting courtside. I send him a text, Danny, go back towards the locker room. So I get done 20 minutes later, and I see Danny in the hallway outside the locker room. I go, did you go into the locker room? He goes, oh, yes. Coach took me right in. I talked to the players. I got my picture with all the guys in the locker room. How many fans could say that they went to a road game to watch their favorite professional team and ended up speaking to the team in the locker room at the end of the game?
Very few. Only the ones that pay for that experience, like on one of those auctions for charity.
I don't even know if you could. I don't even know if those experiences exist where you can pay for it and go into the locker room after the game and speak to the team. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, I really haven't. Not to that degree, but I mean, especially on a whim too, right, Grant?
Yeah.
So, I mean, really incredible. And was Danny the one, or was it Eduardo that was on the radio with you?
Eduardo, but I had Danny on the radio with me too. But Eduardo, I had him come in the studio. He wanted to check everything out, and then I put him on the radio. Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Love it.
Did he know he was going on the radio, or did you just put him on?
No, he had no idea. And he was
that's typical Napier for you. Love it.
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
Hey,
So before
go ahead.
we get out of here, so the NBA has found a way to turn the T-Mobile Arena into the Siegfried and Roy show, with two basketball teams playing on it, right? But the NBA has gotten what they've wanted out of it. They've got an upstart team with a young star versus an established team with the star. Grant, you watching Saturday? Who wins the game? Pacers or Lakers?
Don't care. Won't watch it. Makes no difference to me. Don't care.
I'm watching. I'm watching for Hallie.
Are you
I'm
kidding
watching
me?
for Hallie.
I'm not watching. I don't even know what time the game starts. I'm not watching it. I have no interest. Zero interest. Not watching 1 second of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is pretty weird. I mean, the lights flashing when a basket goes in.
It's an exhibition game.
Yeah, I mean, the next thing you know, they'll be playing at the Spear in a couple of years when U2's done with
Probably
it.
right.
But yeah, it's
You know,
it is what it is. But I hope Halliburton really he gets that moment to come out on a national stage, right? The moment that would have been very valuable to De'Aaron Fox had the Kings made it all the way there.
we'll see. We'll see what the ratings are. I'm still skeptical
Oh, they'll
about
be
it.
terrible. They'll be terrible. But yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone. Kings win. Light the beam. 114-106. Strong second half to beat the Phoenix Suns. And I'm going to end you with this. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball. Oh, boy. Have a great weekend, everybody.